It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
This next question, Brian, I think this is from a show that you and Reby did, but I'll be curious to get your thoughts on this. This is from Running Rabbit, and said, hey, when should you follow up if you were interviewing for a job and you haven't heard back? Like, what's the best way to do that? I want to start this one. I want to see if you agree with me, right?
Okay.
So I have an opinion on this, right? A lot of folks out there, they're worried about, oh man, I had this really good interview and I feel like I really want this job, but man, I don't want to ask too much and I don't want to come on too strong and yada, yada, yada. As small business owners, we face this with customers and clients all the time. Hey, I really want this person to sign up for my services, or I really want to sell this person this item or whatever it may be, but I don't want to come on too strong. I don't want to pressure, what I think is really interesting, whenever we live in this world where there's an interaction, where one person is asking another person for something, whether that be a product sale, a service sale, getting a job, a first date, fill in the blank. Anytime where human beings have this exchange thing, I'm reminded about some sales training that I got roughly 15 years ago. And this is what that sales training said. When it comes to those types of transactions, the second best answer you can always get is no. So my answer is, especially when it comes to a job interview, I wouldn't follow up an hour later or a day later. I mean, I'd certainly write a note. But if some time passes and you haven't heard back from the employer, I'd reach back out and say, hey, just wonder what happened. And then if a few more weeks pass, I'd reach out again. And I'd reach out again. And I would probably reach out until that person said, oh, I'm sorry, no, the job's not available, we weren't interested. And then I'd try to say, okay, great. Hey, thanks for letting me know. What could I have done differently? How might I have been a better candidate? Ask some questions so you can turn that no into a positive outcome where you can use that for the next thing that you're going to ask for. We used to do this with clients all the time. If we were trying to say, hey, someone, you should work with us, or, we really would like to be your advisor, fill in the blank. And they say, oh, no, it's not a great fit. And we'd be like, okay, great. What was it that you were looking for that we weren't delivering on? Or how could we have maybe positioned ourselves to serve you better? It's amazing how valuable a really good no can be in helping you get to your next yes.
See, Bo is a salesman, a natural salesman. So he is looking for the no. I think when people ask questions like Running Rabbit asked this question, it comes down to the human nature event of rejection.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And there's so many things at play when you're doing an interview for a job is that it is like dating. The analogy of dating is so spot on because you're worried about rejection. You're also worried about what is this person thinking about me from scarcity, because we all have heard the playing hard to get is a real game. So you think if you look like you're not available, that scarcity of the situation will actually make them want you more. Mm-hmm. So you're playing coy through the interview. Here's kind of the notes that I wrote down on this. And I think it's very interesting. Somebody like Bo, who I was not going to hire, and then called me back and convinced me to hire him. I want to give the context because I think this is important because you do have several human nature things going on there. You have the fear of rejection, then you also have the fear of you're trying to portray yourself as a scarce resource so they'll want you. So how do you address this when you do the callback? Here's my answer on it. I do think if you're putting just straight up the number and then I'll give you the context of it or the why, is that I think probably 5 to 7 days, like, a few days to a week. Like if you interview on a Friday, there's probably nothing wrong with reaching back out on a Wednesday or Thursday. If you interviewed on Monday, you probably want to wait until the following Monday to write. I mean, so give it the 5 to 7 days because that makes it seem like you're not sitting by the phone. But I also think it's important, and I've told you guys when I've done content on this, is there is nothing wrong when you're in the interview process if you set the framework up for the potential employer and you can still play hard to get, by meaning you control the scarcity, but let them know you're really interested. Yeah. And what I mean by this is you can say, and this is what you did, Bo, when you called me back. I don't even know if you remember. You were very quick to let me know you had other opportunities. However, this was the perfect opportunity, and that's why you were following back up to reach out. You framed it to where, hey, this isn't desperation. This is context, and the fact that I have other opportunities that I can take my scarce resource of me somewhere, but you are where I want to be. This is turning into a romantic comedy without me meaning to, and this is why you can be upfront about that. I
Yeah.
think there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable.
Absolutely.
To letting, because when I'm doing interviews, if somebody says, "Look, I can go," there's 3 other firms that are looking to, even in the negotiation stage on salary with one of them. But if you tell me I'm going to get the job here, this is where I'm going to end up. You've addressed the scarcity because you're definitely desirable, but you've also taken out, hey, are they going to reject me? That context will go a long ways. And then just like dating, it's fine. I think you were probably a much better dater than I was. I was horrible at it, but once I landed on the right place, meaning my wife, God, it sounds weird, but once I found the right relationship, I was committed.
Yeah.
And it was not hard. I didn't have to worry about the gamesmanship and all the other stuff. And it's the same thing with the job. So make sure you're communicating effectively. You're being vulnerable enough with it. This really is a romantic comedy, but I think I've given enough on that.